to Uninformed Movie Reviews.
I love it.
The movie review podcast where we review movies.
Wow.
Yeah. Today we have a special installment of our quest to find our favorite movie of all time, at least up until this point. Obviously, there are movies that haven't. Damn it. I was so confident, and then I went to pick it up to make sure I was doing it right. It threw me off.
This is all staying in.
Yeah. Why are you stopping?
I felt so. I was like practicing today. I was so disappointed in myself. Our quest to find out what our favorite movie of all time is, at least up until this point. Obviously, we'll see other movies that haven't come out yet, or movies that have come out that we just haven't gotten around to seeing.
Yeah, close enough.
Well
Close
done.
enough. I like it.
I like that you got that on the first try.
I
Nailed it.
There's a little bit of ad-libbing at the end. You put your own little spice on it. I like that.
Yeah, I added a couple of words, but you could only make it clunkier, you know?
Yeah.
And today we have a very special edition, a spooky edition, vampires.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's awesome.
Wow.
A key part of cinema.
Let me count all those bats. 1, 2, 3, 4.
For those of you unfamiliar with the podcast or this segment or us, Frank, Danny, David, on with it. We're going to talk about our favorite movies of all time. Maybe not the best movies of all time, but the ones we appreciate the most. We have a runner-up, which is second place.
Yes.
I'm
Deuce.
saying this obviously for the audience and not Danny.
Everyone's deuce.
Second place, the Deuce.
No.
And then
it's just
the
deuce.
first place.
We're in the deuce.
The one we like the most. And let's get into it, fellas.
All right.
David, why don't you hit us with your runner-up for your favorite vampire movie?
All right, man. My number one, my second place. Here it is. Y'all, I picked Martin,
Martin, the
What?
hit sitcom
Martin
with
Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Yeah, you know what? And if you guys, I mean, I think everyone's seen a few episodes of Martin, but when you get around to season 3, it turns out that it's a secret vampire story the whole time.
Oh,
Wow.
it's actually like an origin story for Blackula?
No, I wouldn't say that. but- no, this is Martin from 1976, which is weird. On IMDb, it says 76, but elsewhere it says 77.
That'll happen.
It was released in Europe in 76, but the U.S. Releases in 77. This is a George A. Romero movie. And technically, if you count the 77 date, it's the year before Dawn of the Dead comes out.
Interesting.
So this is, he's already kind of an established name, and this is his 5th film. But this is, I think, his only vampire movie, as the man who's known for the zombies. Although you could read the Marvel Comics story Empire of the Dead, which is vampires introduced into Romero's zombie world. Anyway, what is Martin? Well, Martin stars the titular Martin.
Starr.
No, not Martin Starr. Martin stars John Amplis as Martin. You guys have seen John Amplis before in another Romero movie, Creepshow. He's the one who comes out of the grave who says, "Where's my cake, Bedelia?"
Oh, yeah.
And it's hilarious because if you look at this guy's IMDb picture, it is that creature coming out of the grave. It's not a picture of his face. It's
Awesome. I'm looking at it right now. It is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so Martin's a young man who is moving into a new town to live with his cousin, Cuda, C-U-D-A, weird name.
Cuda.
Played by Lincoln Maisel. And basically, Martin, I'm trying to describe this movie without spoiling too much. Cuda tells Martin that in their family, they have a curse of carrying the vampire gene. And Cuda tells him in their first meeting, like, I am going to save your soul and then destroy your body and like purge it from the earth. Like he lets him know, you're a vampire and I will destroy you.
Hot.
Martin, a troubled young man who's kind of shy and like a social outcast, believes he is a vampire. An emphasis on the word believe because we don't know if vampires are real in the story. So basically the movie, and one of the opening scene is on a train where Martin finds like a young woman who is going to be his victim. he carries around like a syringe of basically he's dextering people.
Oh,
he
right.
gives them the syringe to knock them out. But it's really horrifying how these scenes are shot because it's so the violence is so matter of fact. It's not celebrated whatsoever. And in the first scene, when he injects this lady with the Dexter needle, it doesn't take effect right away. So we get this really long scene of him like choking out this woman. It's really, it's like really
pretty intense.
It's a creepy scene, yeah, in this train. And then once he does it, there's a bit of like sexual violence as well. That he only has sexual experiences in this scenario right before he feeds. But he's also like so socially outcast that he has no ability to have a genuine connection with someone from the opposite sex. So his idea of sexuality is totally disfigured and just warped from this idea. So anyways, that's how the movie starts off. In the train, we get this really uncomfortable wrestling scene. He's like choking this lady out. And then there's rape. Okay. I'm not gonna dance around it, but this is a movie that might make you uncomfortable. And then he carries these razor blades and he like slits her wrist and drinks her blood like after they're done.
That's metal.
So, I mean, the movie's super metal, and it kind of plays with this interesting perspective where it's like, okay, what's really real? Like, is it that Martin is a vampire? There's another character who's played by Christine Forrest. She's Kuda's granddaughter who lives at this house. Martin's on this train to go live with Kuda. So the three of them are now at this house, and Kuda's even warning his granddaughter, don't talk to Martin. Like, he's a vampire. You don't need to go near him.
That's a great way to get your granddaughter to go talk to Kuda.
Right? Or talk to Martin.
Talk to Martin.
Yeah, but she tells Kuda, her grandfather, like it's mental illness that runs in our family. Like, you're crazy. This is not real.
It could be both.
Yeah, I mean, it could be both, but that's really where the story
That's cool.
kind of falls. Like, it's like, what is really going on? Is Martin insane and he thinks he's a vampire, or are they actually vampires? There's a lot of really cool elements in the movie, but before we get all the way there, let me hit you with the numbers. So Martin, 1976, hour and 35-minute long runtime, written and directed by George A. Romero. There is no box office information, unfortunately, but
I actually just had the no budget or anything.
$80,000 estimated budget.
Yeah,
but no opening weekend details, I guess, unless you found something. But
no, that's also all I found. But I did it in like 30 seconds, to be fair.
oh, okay. I forgot that you're on that as well. I didn't want to spoil it by sending you these movies, but
No, I appreciate it. I
so-
don't want to get spoilt.
A couple other things about the movie that I just really like. There's also this great thing where like Martin is trying to make a connection with anyone, and he's calling into this late night radio like rock and roll station.
Long time listener, first time caller.
It's exactly how he talks. And the people at the radio station, they know him as like, what do they call him? Doctor. They don't call him Dr. Acula. They don't call him Dr. Acula. But they call him something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I mean, they think it's kind of a joke. And on his line, he's saying, I have to feed again. Like I'm getting the shakes, and he's talking about how in the rules that there is no magic, like all that nonsense about vampires, being affected by sunlight, all this stuff. None of it's true. There is no, and there's also a big kind of theme about like religion, because Kuda is a very devout religious man, and Martin is again just totally outcast in every way. So there's a bit of a man versus religion going on, man versus vampire for sure. But yeah, like that is an interesting dynamic where Martin is kind of confessing to these crimes, and the radio people, they think he's just joking. Like,
it's a coast to coast kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. They think he's just calling in, like making stuff up.
They think it's their Baba Booey.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to ruin it. I got to say, this is one of like the coolest endings I've seen in a long time. I don't want to overhype it either, but the last scene is just killer. I think George Romero his direction is excellent in this movie. There's a couple of clunky dialogue things in the way that it's written. I mean, it's from the 70s and it feels a little bit dated, but the horror scenes are excellent. The tension's excellent. And the last scene is amazing. And it's basically like leading up to it. Martin being so methodical and careful, but towards the end, him like kind of starting to slip up and making some risky calls and kind of how things unwind from there.
Sounds like a very serial killer-esque journey that this vampire goes through.
Reminds me a lot of like Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Yeah.
Maniac gives me these kind of vibes.
Yeah.
All right.
Very voyeuristic. So if you're into those kind
Almost
of movies,
Black Christmassy.
Black Christmas is another great one. A lot of these like 70s really gritty horror slasher adjacent movies.
I mean, it seems pretty well received. 91% on Rotten Tomato, critic score, 77% audience score, 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
I mean,
solid scores.
That's a very original idea for a vampire movie, and it's like way before. I mean, there you got the Universal vampire movies and stuff, which would probably be the first like mainstream vampire movies. But for being 1970s, like that's pretty original.
And I
They
think
didn't even have the internet.
They didn't.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think we're going to have anything else that's this old on the list today.
No, not from mine.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yeah. So, highly recommend. Now, on a weird kind of note, this movie, just like Dawn of the Dead, got tied up in this whole legal nonsense for different people owning parts of it. Like Dawn of the Dead, you can't buy on Blu-ray. There's a licensing issue. It's out of print now, which is also why like the Blu-ray is super expensive. And Martin is the same thing. Like for a long time, you couldn't find it. You can order like some French Blu-ray of it or whatever, but some dude ripped the whole movie, put it on YouTube.
That's my boy.
In this like beautiful, I think it's like a 4K rip. You can watch the entire movie on YouTube.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's
Much like vampires, not all heroes wear capes.
That's funny because that's one of the cases with one of the movies I chose too. So that's
Interesting.
really interesting.
Yeah, so if you have a Clip Grab, which is the software that I use, maybe pull it off YouTube. I mean, quote unquote, not
Slap that URL.
yeah, do YouTube MP4 download or whatever.
yeah, YouTube to MP3.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
good old
sir.
days.
Yes, sir.
Hit it before it gets copyright strikes and taken down. But Martin, George A. Romero, highly recommended.
And you know what? I'm being a terrible host. I realized it like halfway through you talking about this movie, David. But the whole reason for the season of this podcast, 100 years of Nosferatu, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did any of you guys watch Nosferatu?
No,
after this?
David.
No.
We watched that clip together, and I was like, I don't think I could watch this movie again. I watched it in high school in like a film appreciation class, and I remember being like, I appreciate this.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I watched some clips. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's just this is why we're uninformed. You know what I mean? It's a different thing to watch a silent film.
It's a totally different thing, man.
And I mean, what registered as scary back then is like far and away from what it is today. So
Hell, 100 years will do that to you.
100 years will do it.
This is a long time, man. A long time.
But we'll pour one out for our homie Nosferatu.
Yeah, this is for you, Nosferatu.
Long may he reign.
And also the Batman. we're doubly on topic.
happy little accident on the Batman. Well, that was a great pick, David.
Oh, thank you.
I gotta say I'm intrigued. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I really like the premise.
You guys really should. I mean, it's a crazy movie, and honestly, there'll be some parts where it feels a little slow. It kicks up in the second act for sure. But man, that ending is so satisfying that I think you guys will love it. I think you guys will really, really like it.
I don't say this often, but this sounds like a movie that should get a remake.
Ooh, you know what?
Yeah, I can't think of another time that you've said that.
No,
That's
such a cool like premise in general. But if it could be done right, be great.
Yeah, and
I don't think that George Romero should do it though. Well, he's dead.
Well, yeah, he's dead. That's
he's
a big
dead.
part of realization.
But I mean, due to his later work, I really don't think he could have done it well again.
No, probably not. But there's a lot of Romero. Mostly, it's just the zombie stuff that gets celebrated. I mean, they had that remake of The Crazies in the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, that was a decent one too.
The Crazies is pretty good.
It's
Yeah, it was
decent.
all right.
Yeah,
It was
was
all
that the
right.
one with who was it?
Timothy Oliphant, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant. It was like one of his first.
The little elephant.
Yeah.
That dude's dope.
Ooh, yum bum bum dee, 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 yum, bum. But anyway,
Classic. Danny.
Oh, kick it to me.
Yeah, why don't you hit your runner up there?
All right, so my runner-up, my number 2, my deuce is from 1990 Deuce. It is American.
Jesus Christ.
I had to hit it.
I was
I'm
Team
so-
Deuce at the beginning of the year. I want to stay at the beginning of the year. I was all Team Deuce. I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna ride this one out till January 31st.
No,
It's
and
gonna
we've
be
only made
great.
it to the deuce of
Yeah,
the month.
we've
We
only
only
made
made
it
it
to
through
the-
deuce.
oh my goodness.
Now we're in March and
It's
it's
gonna
over.
be a real
It's
long,
legacy.
hard deuce.
You need more fiber.
And I'm back. Yeah, I'm back on Team Deuce. Let's go.
All right, so this is 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Dracula. This is my first time seeing this movie.
Man, I have this movie.
it's right there.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's right there.
Oh, it is. I was like, I didn't bring it up here.
See, I'm helping you with your pullout game.
Thank you. Thank you. Someone has to. All right, there we go.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking through all the vampire movies I'd seen, and I just remember hearing good stuff about this, knowing it was dated, and just being like, you know what? I love Gary Oldman, and I love Anthony Hopkins, and they're in the same movie, and it's this movie. And there's also that famous ball of clay that we Keanu Reeves in here as well. And you also got my girl Winona Ryder, one of my first crushes. And it's dude, this movie, it's got its problems.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It does.
It's a little dated, but it is metal as hell. Like, it is super metal. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
I've actually never seen Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, dude.
Bram. Okay, well, first off, it's Bram Stoker. I
Right.
hate to be this guy.
Stoker.
Hang on. I love to be this guy.
Let's be honest. You
I
love
love
being
being
this
this
guy.
guy.
And
Actually.
I will admit to the audience that I literally just Googled it to look up the IMDb scores like seconds before I made that mistake.
It's
still
just a
screwed up.
Freudian slip. It's okay.
I don't know if it's like Freudian. I just like
Stroker. I barely know her.
yeah, there it is. Yeah. I was like, I can't see how that would be. Oh yeah, okay.
Frank,
Nice.
why don't you hit us with the numbers really quick before I get on?
All right, so Bram Stoker's Dracula has a 2 hour 7 minute runtime, 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's accurate.
Made on a budget of $4 million.
40.
40 million. That's what that zero after the 4. Okay, yeah. And would go on to gross $215.9 million.
man.
Dude, I mean, this is definitely a big budget movie, but this is the beginning of this movie is tight as hell. I mean, it is so metal. It's based off of like the actual novel, which is actually based off of the actual historical character Vlad the Impaler.
And this is supposed to be like the most faithful adaptation of that novel, including
It is.
all the weird stuff.
There's a lot of sex stuff in it too. That's like blood sex magic in it too. That's like
Well, like classic vampires, there's like a romantic, sexy, like
Yes, man.
hypnotic thing to it. You
This
know
is
what I mean?
a big theme of vampire movies is the eroticism. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, I'm totally on board for
I mean,
it.
yeah.
I
Oh,
yeah.
love it, man.
We've been watching a lot. I think we've all been collectively watching a lot of vampire movies lately. And I don't know about you guys, but a little horned up, man.
you got some aggression and I got some
I'll do it to you.
let me just read the beginning of the plot for this movie. So it's in 1462. Vlad the Impaler returns from a victory in his campaign against the Ottoman Empire, and he returns to find his wife Elisabetta, played by Winona Ryder back in the day, committed suicide after his enemies falsely reported her death. The priest tells him that his wife's soul is damned to hell for committing suicide. Enraged, Vlad desecrates the chapel and renounces God, declaring he will rise from the grave to avenge Elisabetta with all the powers of darkness. And then he stabs the chapel's... Oops. Got too into it. He stabs the chapel's stone cross with his sword, and blood just pours out of it. And it's just like, everyone's just like, oh, and they run out and stuff. And then there's just blood everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's just like metal.
That sounds metal as heck,
Dude.
Danny.
I love it.
And Gary Oldman has this dope red armor. Like it's sweet, dude. It is sweet. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever, like, the basic sum of like Bram Stoker's novel is like, it's about Vlad the Impaler, and then they have some like English lawyer who has to come do some property paperwork for a Count Dracula in Transylvania.
Jonathan Harker.
Right.
An English solicitor.
A solicitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's more accurate. I guess Count Dracula owns some property in London or something like that, and he finds a way to get Jonathan Harker out there. to do his paperwork and what have you. And in the meantime, he's essentially just like, I'm going to kill you. But he does meet... No, it's because he knows Jonathan Harker's wife,
Mina Harker.
is like a reincarnation of Elizabeth, essentially.
Yeah, it's very much The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
It's almost exactly that story.
All right, then I have seen this movie.
Except there's a lot of like sexy vampire fiend sex in it, with blood pouring all over them and stuff. And
wow,
Keanu Reeves doing a absolutely
awful job.
English.
Dude,
oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Honestly, this is the reason why I didn't pick this movie.
You got to like tune him out, really.
The 75% score, it would have been 85 if they
definitely
had not cast Keanu Reeves. And honestly, I feel like Winona Ryder's not very strong in this movie either.
I mean, but what does she have to work with? You know, she's...
Yeah. Well, it's the thing is that it was like the early 90s. Both of these people were super attractive and super popular.
I mean, Beetlejuice just came out, bro.
Yeah. And they were like, we need to get people in the seats. Let's hire these two hot young actors / actress. And they're garbage.
Yeah.
They're really bad. And whereas Winona Ryder can do a good job, I don't know what they were thinking. Because Keanu Reeves, straight up, has like the surfer voice for parts of this movie.
While he's doing his English accent underneath it. Like, just, it's to a point where you're just like, just stop, dude. I can tell. Just stop.
It just took directors way too long to figure out, like, okay, lines. We less lines, more punches.
Yeah. Just don't let him talk.
Yeah, just don't let him talk.
But that being said, obviously Gary Oldman is one of the best Dracula, next to like Christopher. I'm sorry, the guy that played Saruman. What's his name? I'm blanking on
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. He's
right in front
an
of him.
amazing Dracula too. Gary Oldman might be the best Dracula that I've ever seen.
Has
on screen.
Gary Oldman ever done a bad job at anything?
No.
No.
And he looks sexy as hell, I gotta say, as young and like young Vlad the Impaler with his hair, like kind of like Sirius Black, but in war.
Where you're like, oh,
makeup.
Gordon, oh my.
Dude, Gary Oldman's attractive. I gotta say it.
And then, I mean, Francis Ford Coppola is just...
And I didn't figure that out till the
stunning, man.
I didn't figure that out till the end of the movie, dude. I was like, this is a Francis Ford Coppola movie?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Why isn't Nicolas Cage in this movie?
Yeah, it should have been Nicolas Cage instead of Keanu Reeves. You would have done a better job, man.
I didn't know that this movie, well, the score is awesome. It's by, I think he's a Polish composer. Yes, I don't know how to say his name right.
Ooh,
It's
give it a shot. It's gonna be fun.
Wojciech Kilar.
Yeah, you shouldn't have
That's
have
close.
tried.
Anyways, this movie won 3 Academy Awards for Best Costume Design, which I agree with, Best Sound Editing, and Best Makeup. It does have really good practical effects. Obviously, whenever they try and do computer-generated effects, you're just like, okay, it's of the times. But dude, this is like the most faithful to Dracula I could see. And oh, go ahead.
Well, I love that part in the movie too, where they have that superimposed image of Gary Oldman Dracula over when he's like using his vampire mind powers.
His eyes just like,
Dude,
it's so cool, man. It's so
this is
cool.
a great movie.
But yeah, there's just a lot of heads lopping off and blood being drank and like people getting
Drank.
Yeah. Drank. Hold up. Drank.
Yeah. Wow, that song.
Let me just
cut to scenes from Bram Stoker.
Let me show you a
Dracula.
bit of that's Dracula's armor when he comes in, and it's gnarly. But they do the whole like intro scene in silhouette.
Do you know what that actually reminds me of that's way less cool is the new made-up character in the new Mortal Kombat movie. Very similar texture to the armor.
That guy sucked.
Yeah, it did.
What is it? I don't even want to remember that guy's name.
I was trying to like keep a mental list of in my movies what powers my vampires had.
Okay.
So in this, I'm pretty sure that Dracula can honestly just teleport.
Yeah.
He can just
super powerful in this
manifest
one.
with fog. I know that's
Yeah.
a thing. I think he can turn into a giant bat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think he does the bat.
the bat.
Pretty sure he does the wolf too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does do the wolf, and he has like telekinetic powers too.
Yeah, the telekinesis is always an interesting one.
And he's a telepath too.
Yeah.
It's,
You can't stop him.
I mean, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Seems pretty OP.
Yeah, this is OP vampire.
He is, and it's great. I mean, this obviously it's got its problems, and if you watch it, you'd be like at moments you'd be like laughing because of some parts that were probably so cheesy, namely Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But I mean, Anthony Hopkins kills it in this one. He plays Van Helsing,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Ooh, I like that.
right?
Yeah, I don't know why this one's never, like, I know of this movie. It's just never been on my radar. I've never popped it in or selected it on Netflix.
I would honestly say that if you're going to go for, let me watch the traditional Dracula story in film, this is probably the best one to
This
go
is a
with,
good one to
I would
go.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, I think another one that is legit Dracula, but it's like Dracula Untold, and it's that dude from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That minor character from Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen it either. I heard it's bad, but
I did too.
but it's like a prequel to the Dracula novel or something like that.
And you know what? Not to totally ramrod you or car ramrod you
Ramrod.
for that matter, but a couple that come to mind. There's Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee, one of the Hammer film ones. This one's really good. It didn't make my list, but I think this would also be not a bad time to talk about. I finally watched, which I think I saw as a kid, but haven't seen it in years. The Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Oh,
From like the 30s.
The classic Universal.
Yeah, which
Bela
is the same
Lugosi.
story too. And I gotta say, this is not aged well.
Oh no.
I mean, I put in here boring as fuck. They tried to do like a stage play thing. There's like no score for most of this movie.
Oh wow.
that's
It's
lame.
just silent, but it's just one of the first horror movies with dialogue. It's one of the first talkies.
Oh, that's true.
So I mean, interesting. The tone and atmosphere is cool.
I mean, it established the original MonsterVerse for Universal. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
What
So
a shame.
it's
Because
one.
Horror of Dracula is slow, but it's highly entertaining.
So you've
It's a
seen
great
that one?
watch. I watched it with David semi recently.
I've never seen it.
It was for the Halloween 31 Days of
Yeah,
horror,
yeah.
which I think I also watched Bram Stoker's this past year too. But yeah, I just wanted to insert those because they're not honorable mentions. But honestly, Bela Lugosi Dracula,
Just regular
That's kind of
mentions.
crazy.
just like look at it. You
Maybe
know
it's
what I mean?
another sign of the times, like we were saying. Just like
Dude, I mean, it's
what was scary back
it's
then.
90 years old. You
Yeah,
know
that's
what I mean?
crazy.
It's
Wow.
old, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was an amazing watch. Super fun. It is a little long, but I got to say, like the beginning half of this movie is marvelous. It's great.
Yeah.
Had a great old time. It's metal as hell, and that's why I love it. 10 out of 10, in
Nice
my
pick.
opinion.
Nice pick.
Excellent runner up, man. I'm excited to see what your one is.
Yeah. I am too, because this movie is dope.
So one of the things I learned in my journey checking out a few films is I kind of learned not a super huge fan of straight traditional vampire. Both of my picks are going to land in campier, not even campier, but just like sillier, more fun neo vampires, including 1987's The Lost Boys.
Hey, there you go.
My runner-up for favorite vampire movie of all time, The Lost Boys, with its 97-minute runtime, has a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, brought to you by the man who brought you the number 23, Joel Schumacher.
Interesting.
In a weird connection, just right off the bat, we talked about in the Nolan episode how in the following there was Batman iconography, and then that guy would go on later to do Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, Schumacher has the scene in the comic book shop when he's I'm looking for Batman 14. Oh, that's a serious issue. He goes on to direct Batman. He does Batman Forever and Batman, and Robin.
Bat nipples.
Yeah, Bat Nipples.
That's
He's
the
man.
Schumacher.
So it's like 2 podcasts in a row. Really weird.
That's strange. We're making like the right picks, you know what I mean? We're on the right track universally.
This movie has its own rules, right? There's a lot.
So yeah, we're definitely going to we're going to deviate off the traditional path in our vampire rules. The story follows 2 brothers, Sam and Michael, played by Corey Haim and Jason Patrick. They move in with their grandfather, who is actor Bernard Hughes, who plays Father Maurice in Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Bam!
Whoa.
And he wore the shirt. Dang.
Very exciting.
End the episode. We're done.
But anyways, they moved to Santa Clara, California. Their mom just got divorced with their father, and they're like driving in. They're like, "Oh, it's been a hard year, but we all have to adjust." You know, typical like divorce moving story. But they move into this beachside. Yeah. Hey, what are you gonna do? It happens.
Grow the hell up, kid.
It's the 80s and not everyone's divorced yet, all right? You children of the 90s. Look how jaded you guys are.
It's true, though.
So they move move to this beachside town, and it's like so 80s. There's punks everywhere. There's rockers everywhere. So much hair.
Could I say real quick too that these kids moved to this beautiful beach town, all the young life, boardwalk, all this, and they're complaining about moving back to Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh my God, can't we go back to Phoenix?
Like, what?
Dude, Arizona sucks.
You're telling me you
straight
two
up.
guys don't want to like go down to the beach and check out all the girls? You know what I mean?
Even with the vampires, California up here, Phoenix
And
way
it's
down
Santa
here.
Clara. It's like San Francisco, essentially, man.
Yeah, well,
like, come
it's
on.
Santa Cruz, isn't it? Where it's
Or is
filmed
it Santa
somewhere,
Cruz or is it Santa Clara?
Well, like in the film's set in Santa Clara.
which is fictional town.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Santa Cruz is where it's filmed.
That makes sense. It looks
Yeah.
like Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Santa Clara is not fictional.
It is Santa Clara is real.
Yeah.
Santa Carla is
That's
the
the
town
one.
from the Lost Boys.
Okay. I was
Isn't
like,
it?
No, it's Santa Clara.
Then it's flipped.
Yeah.
Then Clara's fictional and Carla's real. I looked this up when I was
Santa
watching
Clara
it.
is a part of San Jose. It's like between San Jose to San Francisco.
Santa Clara real. Carla fictional.
And that's your geography moment, brought to you by Uninformed Movie Reviews.
Berenstain.
So the two teens try to acclimate to their new surroundings. Sam, the younger brother, is going to find some companionship in two comic book nerds and aspiring vampire hunters, one of which is Corey Feldman, barely dipping his toes into the water of drug abuse Corey Feldman. So he's peak Corey Feldman.
I was waiting for you to like see where you were going with the joke. I'm like, this is gonna be so inappropriate. Where's he going with
Not
it?
a joke, just a fact. Okay, just a fact. No, you know what? I don't want to spoil anything. Never mind. So he meets these two comic book nerds, and they're like, they're two really funny characters. They say everything like super serious, and they think they're super hardcore, but as soon as like it goes down, they're like scrambling all over each other. It's super funny. Michael, the older brother, in pursuit of a gorgeous babe played by Jamie Gertz, becomes involved with a group of free-spirited, feather-haired, motorcycle riding badasses who turn out to be, pause for dramatic effect, vampires. Whoa. And these vampires include one Kiefer Sutherland and one Alex Midriff Winters.
Yeah, man. Rocking the half shirt.
Dude, yeah. At first, like, you don't see it at first. And I was like, oh, how weird. He doesn't do the half shirt. And his coat opens a little bit. Boom, there it is.
Have you seen my
he's wearing the
abs?
half shirt. Yes, we've all seen your abs, Alex Winter.
And we got Bill and Ted back to back. Look at that.
Back to back in the habit. Couldn't find any budget numbers for this one, but it had an opening weekend of $5,236,318 with a worldwide gross of $32,481,000. This movie is just fun, man. Fun from start to finish. It's got a beautiful 80s soundtrack. I've been bumping the soundtrack all week. Can't get enough of it. Beautiful 80s aesthetic. The vampires, they have this like layer that's like on the foot of a cliff right on the ocean side, and it's all dimly lit and flickering, and there's cobwebs hanging everywhere. There's like multi-tiers. It's fantastic. It very much like Goonie vibes when they're going through, partly because Corey Feldman's there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this movie feels a lot like the Goonies.
Feels so much like the Goonies.
It's weird how
because
similar it is.
they're like circumventing their parents like eyes and just kind of going off on their own adventure. They think like we have to save the day because the parents aren't going to believe us. Corey Haim and what's this guy's name again? Jason Patrick.
Yeah.
Nail the brother dynamic. They are like very believable as brothers. Haim's whole conflict between like the older brother Michael, he goes off with them one night. He drinks some of Kiefer Sutherland's blood, and he is now a half vampire.
Ha-ha.
Or is it Kiefer Sutherland's blood?
Or is it? He
drinks the blood of the
twist ending.
head vampire, but who could it be?
Oh yes. Right now we think it's Kiefer Sutherland.
You never invite a vampire into your home. It renders you powerless.
So the vampires still have powers. They fly. They can't do the sunlight.
They don't do bat. They don't transmutate.
No, they don't transmutate, but they do have the telekinesis.
Yeah.
They can they bring the fog with them, which is kind of weird. I noticed in a lot of scenes. Like,
Can they teleport through the fog? Like, can they like move through the fog?
Unclear.
no, I think they're all their motion is either through like good old fashioned legs, the motorcycles, or just flying.
Yeah.
Just going like,
Oh, they
it's a
do
very
fly.
floaty
Well,
fly.
they're never shown flying. We
Okay.
always see it from a POV,
well,
but people see them flying. So
yeah, people see them flying. But Jamie Gertz, the female character, she does like fly up to the bedroom for like a confrontation. Michael, during his transition, he like wakes up one morning or like in the middle of the night one night because he falls asleep on his bed, but then he wakes up because his face bumps
He's
against the ceiling.
floating.
He's like floating up. They are translucent in their mirror image. You know what I mean? You can see them in the mirror. But it's really funny. The transition happens really slowly where he's just staying out later. He's wearing sunglasses inside the house during the daytime. There's a really cool scene where like you can kind of tell he's like thinking about eating his brother when he's in the bathtub, but they're good old boy Nanook.
Can I say real quick
Yes, you can.
that bathtub scene is very strange.
Very strange.
And it seems like Corey Haim that role was written for a much younger kid.
Like a 7-year-old.
Yeah, because that bathtub scene is a bathtub for a 7-year-old.
He's playing in the bubbles.
Yeah, and he seems like high school freshman.
Yeah.
8th grader, maybe?
At least.
Yeah, it's really weird. There's a couple scenes where, and I never noticed it as a kid, but I noticed on my rewatch, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't right. He should be, like you said, 7 years old. It feels so strange.
But also, like a 7-year-old couldn't pull off the feats. I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This is why people make the decisions.
I have never seen this movie.
Really?
What?
I've never seen The Lost
What?
Boys.
Dude,
I
you
know.
gotta check
I
out
know.
The Lost
Dude, you
Boys.
have a 80s gap.
Yeah, I do.
Like, you haven't seen like Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen Alex Winter before. You might even know what the guy looks like.
I mean, I know what he looks like. I know what his abs looks like.
who doesn't? Interesting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I've never seen this one.
Well, you'll probably hate it.
No, you never know.
But yeah, Nanook, great boy.
Yeah, Nanook's a great boy. And it is really funny. Like the dog jumps out and like bites him in the hand, and Corey Haim runs out and he's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "What's going on with your hand?" He's like, "Your dog bit me." And he's like, "What did you do to my dog, you?"
yeah, he's immediately on the dog.
I mean, reasonable.
Like their whole dynamic through the whole transition is great. Like Corey Haim obviously like loves his brother and he wants to like save him, but he's also like terrified. He's like, dude, don't like. He even tells him like, wait till mom hears about this.
Yes.
It's just so endearing. There's a dinner scene where their mom works for this dude Max who owns like a movie rental place. Which the aesthetic alone of the movie rental base is super cool. They have these like plastic neon
Yes, dude.
like TV screens everywhere, like behind the counter. So all the people that work there look like they're on the TV.
Oh, that's cool.
That place looks super dope.
Yeah.
Everything about this movie looks super
Bring
dope.
back movie stars.
The boardwalk is just such an awesome setting,
The
which is where the
boardwalk's great.
store is, right? It's on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
The comic book shop's on the boardwalk. And it's also got that connection to Us. In the movie Us, at the very beginning, the first scene when they're on the boardwalk together and the little girl, gets switched, the mom says, "Hey, they're filming a movie over there," and the movie is The Lost Boys.
Oh,
Weird.
Yeah,
cool.
and it lines up. It's that same summer.
How weird.
So Jordan Peele put it in as a nod to The Lost Boys.
That's super sick.
And the crazy part is there's a couple wide shots of the boardwalk where you're like, oh shoot, that is Us. Like there's where the House of Mirrors is. You know what I mean? They
Wow.
don't, that building is missing, but you can see exactly where it's supposed to be. So it's a really cool, like, I don't know.
I was a little bit distracted by that super sick live performance of NXS, like where he's like shirtless and the
shirtless-
spandex was hitting the sax, dude.
Shirtless Sax Man is
Dude.
maybe the peak of the movie.
I honestly, it got me so.
Oh, that is the one where
stoked.
he's like,
Yeah,
I've
dude.
seen that. I've
he
seen
is
that.
hitting it, man. The whole movie, like, there's so many scenes where the lighting is constantly flickering. Everybody's hair's blowing in the wind the whole time. It totally suckers you in. But yeah, they have that dinner scene. The two brothers, they're the Frog brothers. Sam invites them over because their mom brings in the Max. At this point, they are suspicious that Max is the head vampire. So they slip him some garlic. The garlic does nothing. They spill holy water in his lap. Holy water does nothing. So obviously they're like, well, we're wrong. twist in vampire lore, turns out they were right. That stuff just didn't actually work. They were basing all their knowledge off of like a vampire comic book.
Well,
Yeah.
also
For
because
children.
they invite him in.
Oh, and that makes them powerless.
Yes,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
there's
invite
that line
them
in
into the
dialogue.
household,
Silly boy.
yeah,
You don't invite a vampire into your house.
yes, your powers or your tests are rendered powerless.
It's true though. If you think about vampires, a lot of it is about temptation.
Yes, dude, definitely
know?
about temptation.
And then a lot of the stories, and I'm sure some of the ones that we're going to go through too, have a human wanting to turn into a vampire or not wanting to turn into a vampire, but the temptation from the vampire to turn a human into a vampire is there. More so to like drink the blood, but have the consequence of turning them into a vampire. Whereas the temptation from the human is to like screw the vampire, but then also
Screw the vampire. Yes.
the dude with my car reference. Yeah. Mr. Pizza Coley.
So the major themes in this one is less about like the lust, the desire, although we do get a hot, steamy sex scene that's very reminiscent of Frank's sex scene in Lethal Weapon 6,
Which is also,
7?
I feel like a nod to The Room.
Okay.
Oh.
I think the Sunny
yeah.
episode's a nod to The Room because it's exactly like that.
That makes sense.
Oh God.
It is so weird.
Definitely the big theme is like Patrick's struggle to fit in. He wants to fit in with this new crew so bad that he literally becomes something that he doesn't recognize anymore, which I think something like anybody who's grown up can identify with at least a little bit.
This, I know you guys, well, I mean, maybe not everyone on the channel knows this, like viewer wise, but like I didn't watch a lot of Disney movies growing up. There's all these like big gaps of children's movie I never watched, like Mrs. Doubtfire and all this nonsense. This was my Mrs. Doubtfire. Like I've seen The Lost Boys hundreds of times from a very young age.
You could watch both hundreds of times. I can attest to that.
Yes, that's true. But this is like my Disney movie. It's like this, The Goonies, like a bunch of these 80s adventure movies.
And we're not the only ones. I had brought it up to work, and one of my coworkers, Steven, had mentioned like, "Oh, dude, I've watched The Lost Boys just countless times."
Yeah.
It's just one of those like, if it comes on TV, doesn't matter what point it's in. Like, I'm sitting down and I'm watching the rest of it.
On this last rewatch, because I just checked it out too, there is some parts that are like a little cringy. The Frog Brothers in particular, their dialogue is a little much.
I mean, and the delivery of the dialogue.
Yeah. There's charm to it. There's charm to it for sure, but there's some of it where I'm like, oh,
Well, because it's
yikes.
like it's flexing, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
bravado. They're trying to seem like tougher than they are.
Yeah.
Even like there's this big they decide to go hunt the vampires at their lair. They try to kill them. It goes terribly. They fail in major ways, and as they're scrambling out, they rescue two of the half vampires and the brother's there who's also a half vampire, and they're getting ready to bail, and they're like, "We don't ride in cars with vampires." And he's like, "Fine, stay here." And they're like, "Okay, we do now."
Well, I'm glad you brought the scene up because in that scene they're fleeing the lair after staking Alex Winters, and when they stake him, like all this like bile is coming out and like
It's like
blood
it's like half blood. It's it's like bloody, gooey, like pussy kind of stuff.
it's real nasty. They get drenched in it, and I never noticed this before. Michelle spotted it out. When they get in the car, it's got glitter in it. It's sparkly. I'm like, whoa, did Lost Boys invent
They're
the
Twilight
sparkly
Brothers?
vampire?
Well, sometimes I can actually like attest to this from a very poorly shot zombie movie we made in high school. Like a lot of fake blood when
Does
it
have
dries, it
glitter in it.
has like a glittery kind of thing to it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it shows up on camera.
Wow. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe this was purposeful, or maybe it was
just a
unintentional
yeah.
side effect. But next time you're watching The Lost Boys, see if you see the glitter.
the final confrontation at Grandpa's house is crazy. There's things spewing all over the place, out of pipes, out of the wall. They do like an excellent job of killing off what they need to kill off. Grandpa like saves the day at the end. Grandpa's hilarious. He's the funniest one in the whole movie. He's like an old hippie burnout who does taxidermy and bangs old ladies. That's this guy's life. He like grows weed like right outside his house.
Yeah.
Hilarious guy. And then you get the spoiler alert, last line in the movie because Grandpa's just like, all the things about living in Santa Clara that I could never get used to is all the goddamn vampires.
Yeah.
Dude, you couldn't have given us a heads up about these vampires?
Wow. Hilarious, man. Yeah.
Can't recommend The Lost Boys enough. If you haven't watched it before, watch it.
I'm gonna.
Danny. If you've already
gonna.
seen it, maybe it's time to watch it again. Still gonna love it.
I'm gonna pop it in at some point.
Yeah, you can borrow it if you want. I think it's on Netflix.
I think it is.
It is on Netflix. Yes.
Will do.
And now it won't be.
Yeah. Now that we have mentioned it, they will be taking it off very soon.
Such
get
as
it
the
in while you
UMR
can.
curse.
Great choice.
Yes, I agree, David. I
Yes,
think it was a
yes.
fantastic choice.
Very good.
And I mean, that's going to bring us to the main course, getting down to the meat. David, what tasty morsel do you have for your first pick?
Okay. Few times in this segment, like just for instance, like when we did Zombie Movie Quest, shout out, I was like, okay, I have an idea of what my favorite zombie movies are. Let me rewatch them and figure out what my order is. On this one, I was like, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to watch as many vampire movies as I can, ones I've never seen. And this is a movie I had never seen or heard of before and has become my favorite of the entire genre. Like,
Oh, that was my experience with slasher films.
isn't that just a beautiful experience?
It was. I felt like
What
I
was
was
yours?
gifted something. You're next.
You're next.
I'd
yeah,
never
yeah,
seen it
that's-
before.
oh,
and
man, that's
instantly,
an
that
awesome-
first watch, I was like, oh my God, this is one of the
Yeah.
greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and this is how this movie felt for me. I picked Thirst from 2009, director
Really?
Park Chan-wook.
Oh.
This is a Korean vampire movie. You might recognize Park Chan-wook as the director of Old Boy, which is just
yeah.
amazing. One of my favorite of recent years that I hadn't seen before.
Dude,
I typed in thirst to start pulling up numbers, and Google was like, thirst trap?
Thirst Trap? Oh,
dude, there's
that's the algorithm, bro.
South Korean horror, man.
Dude.
They kill it.
They kill it.
They kill it.
It stars Kang Ho Song as Sang Hyun. Kang Ho Song is also in a bunch of movies you guys have seen. He's the dad in Parasite,
Yeah.
and he's worked with
Yeah, I
Bong
can see
Joon-ho
him, yeah.
before. He's in he's like the martial arts expert in Snowpiercer.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Yeah.
He's like a drunken
silent
fighter
dude,
guy,
yeah.
the silent guy.
Yeah.
And he stars opposite Kim Ok-bin, who plays Taiju. She's in a lot of stuff, like a lot of Korean productions that I just honestly don't know about. Okay, so what is this movie about? Well,
Vampires, I assume.
Yes. Sang Hyun is a priest who, and I love that Danny was just talking about, temptation being a major theme. That is the theme of this movie, is temptation. Lots of eroticism. It's coming like head on in this movie.
Has to.
So anyways, Sang Hyun is a priest who goes on a mission, like in the priest sense, not like in the traditional sense.
Not in the Tom Cruise sense.
No, not an impossible mission, but he's on a mission. He goes to undisclosed country in Africa. They're suffering from this disease that people break out in boils and then die.
Ugh.
And while there, he becomes sick. And even when they're there, they're like, man, people only come here when they're like, they want to just kill themselves without actually killing themselves, because no one returns from this mission. But he wants to be in service to people, so he goes. And when he's there, he falls ill and receives a mysterious blood transfusion from an undisclosed source, and it turns him into a vampire. He basically comes back to life after dying from this disease, which also creates this really weird dynamic that there is a group of like cult followers who follow him as if he was God. They like come to him for healing.
That's cool.
So when he returns to Korea, he's working in a hospital. People are worshiping him, but the hospital is an excellent cover because along with the disease, he also received this, and they're not the same. They're separate. Like along with the boil disease, he's also a vampire now.
yeah.
They're not connected. They just happen to be happening.
He happened to have the same thing.
You work at a hospital. You got access to all that blood, baby.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the movie, we get a lot of like kind of
We're
really
looking at you, United Blood Services.
we get a lot of funny tongue-in-cheek scenes where he finds a coma victim that the nurses and orderlies don't go into the room to check on him. He knows what the schedule is, so during his shift or whatever, he'll go in and unhook the IV and lay on his back on the floor and just put it in his mouth and just have the blood drip from from the guy's coma patient into himself. And in this universe, feeding heals their ailments. So he's never cured of this disease. And if he goes long enough without having blood, the boils start to appear on his skin. But when he drinks, he is like rejuvenated. He looks younger. The boils go away. So it's a constant need to feed.
And you know what? They
Ooh.
actually have that same dynamic in Let the Right One In. Like when
Yes.
the young vampiress needs to heal, he like has to give her some of the blood.
Which I also watched that one just last night.
Pretty
Such
good.
a good one.
I'd
dude.
never seen it.
I'm pretty sure it's a Finnish film, actually.
I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finnish. Michelle loved it too. She was super into it.
It's great.
The remake is bad.
I haven't seen it, but we might
Let
watch
me
it
in.
just for fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Swedish, I'm sorry.
the film continues with basically Song-hyun getting into a relationship with Taiju, who's unhappy with her husband. And she comes to admire him. And she becomes kind of like the object of temptation. Because he's trying to live out as a vampire, but without causing harm to people. He doesn't want to kill anyone.
He's a morally conscious vampire.
Yes, because he's still a priest. You know, he wants to help people, but she becomes an object of temptation, and along with him kind of giving in to sexual temptation, he also gives in to like violent temptation.
Let's be honest, though, not the worst temptation a priest has ever succumbed to.
Yes,
Ooh,
much better
hot
than a lot of
take.
other priests. But anyway,
I didn't have the whammy, so I went with Wilhelm.
some stuff I really like about the movie. There's some great practical effects and awesome camera work of seeing like, because they don't fly, but they like leap through the air.
Okay.
And seeing that motion captured on camera. I guess they're doing it with wires for some of the movie, but it's done in such a creative way. It's just very visually pleasing. Later, we get a little bit of CGI that's like, not the best. But, you know, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It's 2009. You know what I
CGI
mean?
doesn't age well.
No, it doesn't. Basically, we get into a very complex scenario where a woman that they somehow end up kind of, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like it all comes down to a very Breaking Bad scenario where it's like the what's the name of the guy in the wheelchair with the bell?
Hector Salamanca.
Yeah, there's a Hector Salamanca-esque character in this movie.
Nice.
Who is basically kind of giving away the secret of this relationship and of their identity. And I mean, things just really start to unravel. Really awesome violent scenes, like gore scenes.
Nice.
Great camera work. I mean, if you haven't seen Old Boy, which I guess would be the Park Chan-wook film that most Americans have probably seen.
Love that movie. So violent.
I mean, if you love Old Boy, like Thirst is going to feel so good.
Nice.
It really nails that vampiric eroticism.
Nice.
And man, it's just a great story. And Kang Ho Song is just like an amazing actor. The guy is so good.
He is really good.
And he kills it in this movie, man. So
Have you guys seen Parasite? You've both
Yeah.
seen Parasite now, right?
I still need to watch Parasite.
Bruh.
I thought we reviewed it for the channel. I guess we didn't.
We did not.
Well, it's excellent.
Definitely an awesome movie. Should watch.
You will watch it soon because
It was a contender for movies we should have
Yes.
reviewed, but it did not win.
Minari one.
Minari won. Yeah.
But we already put on the schedule a Bong Joon-ho film ranking.
That's right. We're gonna have to watch
Hey,
it.
we
there
will
you
watch
go.
it.
Very
That's
exciting.
I'll watch it again gladly.
There we go. Anyway, yeah, I highly recommend Thirst. I had an amazing time. I want to watch it again immediately. I had to rent it off Amazon, just so you guys know.
That'll happen. $4.32. No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the Blu-rays. It's coming in the mail.
You know, you have made a choice of one element of vampires. Like yours was, it's either a magical thing, a curse, or it's a viral thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The vampiric curse. Some of the movies lean heavier on like a medical aspect of it, of it being like an infection, like the strain and things like that. But some of them, it's more of like a theological curse or something like that. Or
Yeah, and I think both of mine are kind of they're both very religious.
okay,
Martin and Thirst, they both kind of have a religious curse element to it for sure.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But
Lost Boys is more of a curse too.
Lost
right?
Boys is
isn't
just straight up camp, man.
Yeah, it's just straight up camp. You know what I mean? Like, so the way Lost Boys work is like they drink the head vampire's blood, so they're like half in, half out. They're like a prospect, if you will, for using Sons of Anarchy terms for no reason at
Gotcha.
all. And they don't get their bottom rocker until they make their first kill.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I like that.
But still,
Initiation.
like, you kill the head vampire, everybody's fine.
Yeah.
So that is like a magical connection.
That is
there
a typical
bit.
thing too.
Yeah.
You take out the vampire and all his minions go.
Yes, although ironically, I don't think most of the movies I watch that's even an element in.
Huh. That happens in Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
It doesn't happen in my first.
It also
pick.
happens in my first pick, though.
Well, why don't we get onto it?
Well, all right then. That was a great pick.
Great pick, David.
I am gonna check that out.
take your recommendation under consideration.
And I'm sorry, before we hit it all the way,
Oh, I pulled up the numbers. So
if you could please, sir.
I meant to text you guys earlier today and be like, hey, don't worry about the numbers. I'm just going to do it really fast as you guys announce them. And then I didn't even do that. I drank so much coffee this past week that I went no coffee today to try to give my body a break, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
So 2 hour and 14-minute runtime. Thirst was made on a budget of, scroll down. IMDb keeps it so far away. A budget of $5 million. Not a huge budget. An opening weekend of $55,889, but has gone on to worldwide.
In U.S. and Canada.
US and Canada.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Worldwide gross of $13,085,023.
Wow.
Currently scoring a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, as we've seen is pretty median range for vampire movies.
Yeah.
80%
At least 7.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right.
All of our picks have had at least 7.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They've all been like 7 point something.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's good. That's awesome. I do want to check that out.
Yeah.
I do love Korean cinema. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's killer. I'll loan it to you guys when you get it. When I get it.
I also, because of our journey, ended up ordering something on Amazon, and it's the anniversary red vinyl edition of the Lost Boys soundtrack.
Oh,
Dude, I'm
So
I am
excited.
so jealous right now.
That's cool.
Dude, it's like $10 off. It's like $31 on the pre-order. It's not shipping until
Is it
April 8th.
blood red?
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yes.
That's
Dang
cool.
it, Frank.
I can't wait.
Dang it. I might buy it.
I'm going to be bumping it.
Well, it's my birthday later this month, so I might just cheat and say, this is my birthday gift to myself.
Hey, there you go.
I'm going to buy it. Anyway.
I think that's a good choice. All right, so we are on to my number 1. For my number 1, David, you do have it here.
Oh.
It is the year 2000's dark fantasy horror adventure anime film Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Let's go!
Dude.
I've
This
definitely never seen this.
Oh my God, Frank! This might be one of the best animated movies I've ever seen in my life.
Had you seen this before?
Yes,
Okay.
I saw this when I was 9 years old, and I was like,
Dang.
I can't believe it's been that long since I saw it last. We used to have a copy of it. I don't know where it went. I had to look it up. It's free on most places, YouTube. If you have like a Roku TV, there's this service called Manga TV that has it for free or something like that.
Weeb.
Yeah. This movie is so metal and
Dude.
so well done.
It's a more metal version of Blade.
Yeah.
It is so much Blade,
It is.
but like a more hardcore.
It is Blade done right.
You know, just a footnote, we always give like Michelle crap about like the Blade 3 is like not the best one. Like Blade 1 super dope, Blade 2 even better. I watched both of them, couldn't bring up the courage to watch Blade 3 again. Aged terrible.
Oh, dude, I mean the CGI effects are horrible. I watched 1 and 2 also.
Like I was like, I regret watching these.
You know what? I really enjoyed them. They have this really cheesy layer of camp over them. But it's kind of crazy to watch Blade 2 directed by Guillermo del Toro and be like, whoa, this is
Weird.
the strain.
Yeah.
Like the visual effects of the vampires in the second one or whatever they're called, it is the strain. It's so strange.
They call them the Ridden or something like that?
Yeah. They're like the vampires are even worried about them.
Yeah.
But
Strigoi.
but Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust,
Dude.
Yes,
Let's
dude.
talk
the
about
Dun
this.
Peel,
Let
man.
us.
The Dun Peel, you were talking about half vampire, and now we're in on it. The Dun Peel is a daywalker, if you will, half and half.
Daywalker.
Vampire Hunter D, the main character, D, is a Dun Peel, his father being a vampire king. Some
Body.
rumor him to be Dracula, I think. What else? Human mother. Anyways, he honestly just wanders this is set far in a post-nuclear future.
It's so far in the future that it seems like the Old West.
Yeah. It's like beyond like Fallout. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And there's like all this magical stuff. It's very like Lovecraftian.
Yes.
There's crazy creatures all over the place. Anyways, like vampires are dwindling in numbers, and they have huge bounties on their heads. So
it's like somewhere in between Serenity and Cowboy Bebop.
But with
Kinda.
vampires.
But with
In a weird
vampires.
way.
it is a little bit like Cowboy Bebop now that I think about
There's
it.
some really cheesy dialogue because they give you the text and they're giving you that information. They're like, with these huge bounties on the vampire's head, a new job is formed. The bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Not a new job.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Why did you say vampire hunter? I'm hoping this is a localization issue.
It could be.
Yeah.
They've been doing bounty hunting since a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Since crime existed, there's been bounty hunters.
This was actually one of the few anime movies made for English. Made for English first. It's its
Made for
primary
English.
It's its
So
primary
broken.
primary language.
Is it really? I
It
didn't
is.
know that.
Yeah, I
That
didn't
is
know
so
that
cool.
either. So it's based off of Hideyuki Kikuchi's Vampire Hunter D series, the third book, Demon Death Chase. This is actually a sequel. There was a Vampire Hunter D movie before this.
Which I've never seen.
I've never seen it either.
And I've heard that the animation is kind of rough.
Yikes.
Like a lot of people online just say, don't even watch it, just watch Bloodlust because it's where it's at.
Dude, I'm hoping there's some talk about more coming out for this at
They're
some point.
apparently in the works of making an anime, which this has never been an anime before because the series isn't
It's a
manga,
manga,
which
yeah.
it's a book.
Yeah, they're books.
Yeah, which is weird. You would think it'd be a manga, but it's a book.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, it is bloody, gory,
yeah.
action packed. The animation is like, like when you watch something like Perfect Blue or something, or something like a huge like seminal anime film that's like got a big budget behind it and is perfect animation. That's this movie.
If you haven't seen it, have you seen Ninja Scroll?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, it's from the same studio.
it is. It's actually the
And-
same person, Yoshiaki
Yes.
Kawajiri.
And they share that really distinct visual style.
And
I don't know if Frank would like this.
dude,
This
I
is-
do think you would like
really?
this. I do.
I feel like it's too anime.
Damn, well, now I have to watch
Yeah, now
it
you have
just
to
so
watch it.
one of you can be wrong.
I think if you can get past the somewhat generic story, there's like really original parts of this
Yeah.
story. It's pretty basic out there. The dude's a badass like daywalker.
How fan servicey is it?
I mean, there's some boobs,
But I mean, very little.
little boobs.
That's good.
There's
That's
blood
good.
boobs.
The fan servicey is like scares me away from. a
There
lot of
are-
animes.
Olympic swimming pools full of blood in this.
Yeah.
In this movie.
That I could get into.
It's like this girl runs away with our Dracula character.
Yeah, Meyer.
Meyer.
Yeah, it's
They
yeah.
hire D to go after her, but there's also a group of vampire hunters also going after her.
Yeah, and they're cool as hell.
They're really cool,
Yeah,
but
they're cheesy.
they don't really succeed. It's got a
No,
really
yeah.
cool, like, people are just getting picked off
Yeah.
by the
Okay.
power of this vampire.
There's a turn in it because Meyer, the head vampire who's ran away with the damsel, like he hires like this shadow organization of just the craziest creatures you can imagine to like protect him and her as they make their way to like this vampire castle.
One's kind of a twisted werewolf, sort of.
Yeah,
like a
one's
twist
got like
on a werewolf.
One's like a twist of a werewolf who is a werewolf, but also has a giant werewolf mouth that comes out of his abdomen and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the ladies, the lady in it can actually transmutate into like anything, like wood, steel, and all that stuff. One of them,
A teapot.
a teapot probably, but like it's cool. It's really cool. And Bengi is one of the ones in the troop that's like a shadow demon. He like is all black and he looks like a clown, and he essentially can just like move through shadows. Like if you shoot something at him, he can just like extend his body and like it goes into nothingness and stuff. And
Interesting.
The hunters and the enemies all have their own powers, and it's one of my favorite parts.
dude, one of
Kind
the hunters,
learning how all of them go.
I don't know if you remember Grove, one of the hunter that's in the truck.
Yeah, the one who's like psychic.
Yeah,
essentially.
he can like project himself in like a astral projection.
Yeah,
and he's
dude.
like extremely powerful, but every time he does it, he gets closer to dying. So he has to like inject himself with like something that like gets him closer to do. It's so cool, man.
Also, one of the hunters is voiced by John DiMaggio, so you get a little bit of Bender.
Huh.
I didn't know that.
And it's weird because the voice is also it's borderline Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, so you get to hear like a little bit of where Marcus Phoenix voice comes from.
He's got like
from John DiMaggio.
a cigar in his mouth the entire
Yes,
time.
man, just like Bender would.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Yoshiaki Kawajiri, the director, screenplay writer and adapter of this. He has in his lauds most recently, he's got Jujutsu Kaisen, which is an awesome anime.
Oh, and they're showing the movie at Alamo Draft House.
Movie's coming out. Yep.
Truffle popcorn.
He's got storyboard credits for Demon Slayer, one of the hottest new animes, Attack on Titan season 3.
Demon Slayer is just imitation Inuyasha.
It is.
I'll say
I'm
it.
not into it as
I'll
much.
say it. It's okay.
Also, storyboard for One Punch Man. Also, he is one of the directors in The Animatrix.
Oh, I know which one it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one with the weird monkey.
We're discussing The Batman, the newest version of a Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
David, I believe you had the Hemingway.
I did.
What else you got to say about this one?
Okay, The Batman. I'll be honest. We saw it pretty late. We saw it like at 9:50 or 9:55 is when the ticket said it started. But then you got to wait through like 20-ish minutes of various ads and
Alamo telling you not to talk.
Not to talk. Yeah. So we saw it pretty late, just shy of 3 hours. And I feel like that did not put me... That wasn't the best time to watch it. Like, I was a little frustrated by the end of the movie, mostly because I was sitting for too long.
Yeah.
I feel like too old, maybe, but...
The ticket should come with a seat cushion.
Yeah. And Frank says it in his review. I think he sums it up very well, but there's basically like this big climactic scene in the movie, and then everything just kind of feels a little flat after that, and it's still like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The ending was not very exciting to me. If anything, it just felt like we need to have an ending. What are we gonna? There's bombs in the city that are gonna go off. Oh no!
Are we gonna? We should just do spoilers now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
spoiler alert.
There's not. I feel like
there's no way to talk about it.
There's not a lot.
Right.
Is there a lot to spoil in this movie?
Yeah. What are you gonna spoil?
It's spoiled by the runtime.
So yeah, the run. I mean, but then I think, well, what if I saw it at like noon? I spent that 3 hours. And then I go outside and the sun like melts my eyes because the movie's so dark. But maybe I'll feel better about the way it's paced. I don't know. Maybe not.
Just didn't feel like it needed to be that long.
Yeah, it definitely didn't.
Definitely.
They could have
trimmed
a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basically from the moment that the Riddler's taken in, there's always that cliche moment where you have like a serial killer and you're just like, oh, I'm at a diner. They want you to take them in. You know what I mean? It's the seven moment. The Joker moment. Does it too.
The Joker does it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much from that point on. It's and
well,
kind of falls flat.
This is actually, I think, a big part to talk about. What is the Riddler's like ultimate goal in this movie? Is it to
expose the Wayne Foundation as a crime funding system?
But why do you need all these clues with Batman?
Didn't.
That's the part I'm just confused about.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy, I guess. He wanted to make a game out of it.
Yeah. I had actually read something today about Paul Dano. In order to kind of get into the character for the Riddler, he hung out in chat rooms and on Reddit to take in the
the incel.
The incel, yeah,
there
exactly.
You go.
The incel culture and mindset. So he was just really being an idiot, you know what I mean? Like an idiot who's just cut off from the rest of the world and just caught in his own reverberations.
That probably means that Paul Dano's got a fake or a ghost profile on Gab and Getter and all these other right-wing social media places.
It's
that are
just the Riddler. That's his screen name.
Riddler without an E.
Riddler.
In the CLE, David, you only got the chance to give us with one of your most zingers, Zinger Hemingways, but you had a lot of them.
Oh.
Do you think you could recite some of them?
Oh, let me
just
see.
to get them out in the sunlight. I feel like it's a shame that
it
they would
really is a shame you only got 6 words because you were bringing the heat. Well, you were breaking Danny over here, man. He ruined so many takes.
Well, I mean, I guess. Well, one that I didn't end up putting in the episode because it just wouldn't have made sense is city flooding. Quick to the pit, which is this ridiculous moment at the end of the movie when the Riddler reveals that he set up these 7 vans that are going to explode. It's not teased at all. It's just something that happens, and now, oh no, the city's going to flood now.
Yeah.
Because Gotham's also built under sea level, I'm guessing. It's got a New Orleans situation.
Thing. It's a seawall. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, why?
Yeah.
It seemed more symbolic, but not enough to make an impact.
Well, it's just weird because it happens in downtown and it's very, just visually, you can tell, well, everyone just needs to go upstairs.
Yeah.
All of these buildings.
Okay, the people in the street who are right next to the bomb, yeah, they're,
To get on top of a car?
You know
what I mean?
It wasn't even that much water.
Yeah, like if it was like Day After Tomorrow water, I could see like
Yeah.
I could see getting scared. But this was like straight up ankle high. I think.
Okay, maybe not ankle high,
But they were still like wading through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
was swimming.
no one was swimming. Yeah. Then there's like Madison Square Garden. I'm assuming is what they're shooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. There's like they're all holding up in this big auditorium venue place with the AOC of the story, which felt like The Boys a lot. That's what it reminded me of. But then, they all decide, hey everyone, go down into the pit of this venue. Like
what the is up? Gotham Square Garden?
yeah, it's a little. I just didn't quite understand that. So that was one big thing. Let me see what else I got in here. Pattinson, saddest and least graceful Batman. I really like that he's not smooth, you know what I mean? He's kind of he's willing to bust through a window and kind of like flop all over the place.
He has such little regard for himself.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like willing. Like one of the things I really liked about the Batman, or like this Batman, is like he does have blind spots. He's like he is fallible. Like when when he glides in that squirrel suit, you know what I mean?
That was
he
dope.
just rams into the top of that overpass. He hits it so hard, man. I got a kick out of that. I loved it.
That is really good.
It's my favorite version of a Batman.
I got Holy Online QAnon Conspiracy Theories Batman.
Straight up.
Which is what Frank's talking about. That's what the Riddler really feels like.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the Riddler's like recruiting his followers.
I mean, the Riddler is essentially like if Q was an actual person.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, and his followers would be like Proud Boys.
Yeah, yeah.
How many people were in that stream? It wasn't a lot.
It was like 150, I think.
He had said something. It was in the hundreds.
Yeah.
When he said the number, I remember thinking like, really?
Could have got more than that.
Like,
no?
I thought it was like 400 maybe.
He's putting up numbers like us.
Yeah, for reals.
You know what the thing was? They didn't have enough at the Army surplus store to all dress the exact same, so he had to like really bring it down.
Well, here's my point though. Let's say like you have only 400 followers, and then let's just say it was for a meetup, like not even a hostile takeover of the city, but you're trying to organize your 400 followers just to like, I don't know, go to Barnes and Noble or something. How many people are going to show up?
Not many.
20.
You always, yeah.
Maybe, man.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Like maybe one of them who's just like your buddy, who's also your follower. You know what I mean?
The people who actually follow through with their RSVP online. Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to deal with that soon.
Yeah.
Although the wedding RSVP is a little more sacred than just a normal RSVP.
Oh, that's why you send them the second one.
Yeah, you double RSVP him. But yeah, then also just Riddler straight up hitting the like, share, subscribe, which was one of my favorite humorous moments of the movie. Because he's like, with your comments, everybody, we were able to turn this into a movement. Make sure you click that bell and smash that like button. Share this with your friends so we can get our content out there. I was like, wow.
Should have hit my Patreon because I'm definitely going to jail.
You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. It was amazing, man.
Brought to you by Manscaped.
But jokes aside, I like the visual aspect of the movie a lot. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly, I felt different about the movie almost every day that's passed.
That's weird.
Like the next day I was like a little frustrated, and the day after I was like, well, you know what? There's actually some really cool stuff. And then now I'm kind of just like on.
I feel the same way as when I left that theater. I was like, there was some cool stuff in there that I liked.
Yeah.
Never need to watch that movie ever.
Oh, so you'll never watch it again?
Nah, I can't imagine what would make me sit down and like
Batman movie
go
ranking.
through that all over again.
Yeah, other than the Batman movie.
Other than
ranking.
the channel. Yeah. Other than the channel.
And it'd be
I'll
the
watch it.
longest one. You know what I mean? It'd be
Yeah.
the longest one to watch.
Which is weird to say. How long is The Dark Knight Rises? Doesn't get this close, right?
I think it's like 2.5 hours. Nolan, I feel like kind of dials in on the Batman movies about 2.5, but I could be wrong.
I think the last one's the longest.
Yeah.
I just wish. I know it must be hard to market a movie that's going to be a Batman movie. It's going to be a new Batman movie without putting Batman in the title. And maybe that's why like Christopher Nolan made Batman Begins and then like named the
him
other one
after
The
that.
Dark Knight. But it feels like this is just too confusing.
Well, it's interesting because it's got a little bit of that symptom that the DC EU has, and in that like they want to make the movie maybe a little too complicated.
Too damn gritty.
Like, well, not even the grittiness part, which I can deal with, but like there was a lot of story in this movie. There's a lot
Yeah.
of characters and a lot of stuff in motion where some of it just feels like a bit underdeveloped. Like, I don't even know if Penguin necessarily needs to be in this movie.
No, but he is a
probably
good
one of my
part.
favorite
yeah.
parts.
yeah.
I mean, he's good. It's a good performance, but like, what do we really know about the Penguin other than he's like low tier mob boss?
And then that
apparently.
the final interrogation where they have him like tied up and they leave him there, so he has to like penguin waddle like after them.
That is pretty
dude,
funny.
It's so funny.
Y'all forgot I was here, didn't you? I love that. Yeah, I mean, he's totally unnecessary, but surprisingly a good part of the movie. I guess he's just like a bridge to get you to that whole Carmine Falcone thing that reveals that Thomas Wayne was less than an ideal person,
Yeah,
which it just breaks the Boy Scout spirit of Bruce Wayne.
I guess. What?
Oh, my
What?
parents aren't angels?
Politician billionaire has
Rich
skeletons
people?
in his closet? What? I mean,
As far as
Okay.
skeletons go, not terrible.
Yeah, it's just that
Could have
his
been a lot worse.
His
Yeah.
wife was insane, right? And then
yeah.
they founded the Arkham Asylum, and
Well,
which
apparently
ironically,
his wife's family is the Arkham family.
yeah, that's what they're.
Is this might be Batman lore? I don't know.
It
this.
might be,
I've never heard of Martha Arkham.
but they were saying that like the Waynes and the Arkhams are like
Mm-hmm.
what, like the Kennedys and the what have
it's
you.
like the two wealthiest, most powerful families got married.
yeah.
The Kennedys and the Rockefellers.
There you go.
The Montagues and the Capulets.
What's the one that Anderson Cooper is? Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
There you go.
Yeah.
The origin story is refreshed in a way like, oh yeah, your parents weren't great.
Speaking of origin story, it was just kind of nuts that I think this is the only Batman movie that doesn't have a scene of the Waynes getting killed.
I was stoked about that.
That's probably my favorite
Did not
part
need
of the
to
whole
see
thing. like we don't. Everybody knows Batman's parents were killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Batman's an orphan. We don't need to see some other child actor like try to like pull the emotion out of us. Like, oh, this poor little boy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of Batman.
They probably took notes from that the Spider-Man reboot where they just didn't need to show Uncle Ben dying because we know how Uncle Ben dies
we know
and that he dies.
Although I don't think there is Uncle Ben in that universe. In Tom Holland's
he's
universe,
just gone. Or he was
Yeah.
just someone.
But still,
Or Aunt
Uncle
May's-
Bao's, the Chinese restaurant.
Is that a national thing?
No, I'm pretty sure that's local. humor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm hitting the local El Paso humor.
I didn't even
again.
get that joke. I'm so lost.
I don't even know if it's around anymore.
No.
Um,
Gone.
Wow, Frank is referencing a
90s El Paso humor.
Wow.
I also think that Andy Serkis was a fine Alfred Pennyworth, but like I still don't think that they needed to do the
Fine?
Yeah, that was weird. The whole time
It
I
was
felt
weird.
like at any moment he was gonna call Alfred and be like, Alfred, why aren't
Precious.
you at home? And he was gonna be in like some underground like boxing tournment. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
okay.
Like he
He
was
looked a little too tough.
Yeah, he looked way too tough.
to be a butler, to
Yeah.
just be someone's butler.
And maybe I know it's not fair to just compare it to The Dark Knight because it's like 3 movies. But after watching Christian Bale and
Michael Caine, man.
Michael Caine together, didn't really feel anything towards either of those characters, Bruce Wayne or Alfred, much less their relationship together.
Yeah.
You know what? I really liked this version of Bruce Wayne.
You like
Pattinson was good.
The Pat Bat.
Yeah. I mean, he's just all right. I like when the Riddler
You like when they played that Nirvana song 6
oh
times?
my god, no. But I liked when the Riddler just basically came down and just said like he just brought Bruce Wayne down to earth and was just like, "Hey man, you call yourself an orphan, but you don't know what it's like to actually be an orphan."
Yeah.
He's like, you sit in your ivory tower, you got billions of dollars, you got servants, and we squat here. Yeah, so that was a really good humbling part of it to really like showcase that Batman's quite privileged, but still, he's doing a lot about it.
Quite privileged.
Quite privileged.
Whoa, slow down. Slow down here.
Yeah, I liked that part of it for sure. But Pattinson's still great. I liked how it's mostly all facial reaction with him. Very sparing dialogue, if anything, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And mostly just looking very sad.
And great detective work, man. I like the little setups with the Riddler, his killings, his little like cheeky, like tongue in cheek.
Although I feel
Killings
like
and
there's
stuff.
got to be a better way to organize your thoughts than on the floor and like
Oh,
spray
yeah.
painting your floor. Like, come on, pegboard.
Giant
People have been
words.
doing pegboards for decades.
It kind of reminded me of in what is it?
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
No. The John Krasinski horror movie.
Oh, The Quiet Place?
The Quiet Place, when they go into the basement and he's got that board and he's got like notes written on it like
From space?
from space question mark.
Yeah.
But how do they see?
Yeah.
Question mark. It was like, okay, I get that you're trying to tell us this.
It's a movie trope that's really tired.
It's really tight,
It's
isn't it?
really tired. It's not aged well because I could get that, like you're saying, in the pegboard days when we didn't have like things like computers or projector screens or like spreadsheets
Or even
you know?
Charlie Kelly, like working in the mailroom trying to figure out this whole Pepe Silva thing.
Yeah. Although it does fit more with this Batman because he's not very techie.
Yeah.
Whereas like you could see, Christian Bale just like hacking some database or something, or like running on its own. But this guy's like driving a motorcycle, and he's got one batarang that's on his chest.
Yeah.
Some cobbled together Doom Buggy-esque Batmobile.
That was
which
crazy.
I loved the sound
It
design
looked like
of the
some
Batmobile.
muscle car, like revamped or something like that. It was pretty
It
crazy.
reminded me of
with like a rocket launcher.
It
engine.
reminded me of I'm gonna forget.
It looked
the
like a
name
Trans
of the
Am.
car in Rocket League. It's like the not the Dominator, but the Mad Max looking car in Rocket League.
Grog, maybe?
No, not Grog. Grog's the big dumb tank one.
Oh, I can't remember.
During the movie, I thought of it. I wrote it down in my
Ripper?
notes. I'm pretty sure it's Ripper.
You think they're
actually.
gonna
might be
put this in Rocket
I was gonna
League?
say it looks like it's begging to be in Rocket
Yeah.
League, especially the placement of that rocket booster,
Yeah.
whatever it is on the back.
I mean, they should do it. They already have Batmobiles in that bad boy.
yeah, they got the Tumbler and the old one,
Oh, the Tumblr's so cool.
the Michael Keaton one. Shoot, I mean, is there anything else about Laybat?
No, I'm good. I'm over it.
Zoe Kravitz did good. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it.
Thought it was okay.
I would say okay. See it in the afternoon.
So that'll take us to our next segment, everybody's favorite segment. Oh, that's interesting. Today, I have a little treat for y'all, for all y'all even. The man now seen as the face of a resistance to Russian military aggression voiced the Peruvian bear in the Ukrainian version of Paddington and Paddington 2.
And if we can say Paddington with a perfect 100%
No
on
way.
Rotten Tomatoes.
No way.
Look it up, bro.
What?
And it's because of our Ukrainian president.
Volodymyr Zelensky. He is an actor. Amid the bleak news that has emerged from Ukraine since Russia launched its invasion last week, over the weekend, a more upbeat nugget of information emerged about one of the key figures. Chatter erupted on social media on Sunday, first sparked by a tweet sent by Blacklist founder Franklin Leonard, that Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president and the man now seen around the world as the face of brave resistance against Russian aggression, had voiced Paddington Bear in the Ukrainian version of the hit 2014 animated film.
It probably was at one point.
Sorry, look up Paddington 2.
Oh, Paddington 2. That's
No,
what you're
I
talking
said
about.
Paddington, but maybe it's Paddington 2.
Okay. Paddington 1 has
97% on Rotten
Damn.
Tomatoes.
Just
Come on.
as good.
And I'm pretty sure it's just because of the Ukrainian voice acting.
I'm sorry. What is going on right now?
Just as good as 100. Might as well be 100. Although the idea of the world leader voice...
99%. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Guys,
What is going on?
And you
Paddington
know what?
film ranking
It
coming
probably
soon.
was 100, but this is a Russian cyber attack
Oh,
trying
there
to
you
tank
go.
the rating on
Taking
IMDb,
it down.
You know what I mean? That's probably what it is. Although the idea of world leader, we don't even have to read the rest of the story. That is what it is. Like that's crazy. Have you guys seen the clips of him like killing it on Ukrainian Dancing with the Stars?
yes.
No.
Dude, homie can
He's
cut a
also
rug.
like
He
on-
won his season.
He's also like on
Really?
Ukrainian Got Talent or something. I saw another
Yeah.
clip of him.
That guy's got talent. Not just massive brass Ukrainian balls,
Yes.
but talent. Talent out the wing wang.
There's also like some, I mean, I gotta just say, I love how Russia, doing classic Russia stuff, being all like, oh, blah, 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 our military is so amazing. And then Ukraine just like backhanding them.
Oh, yeah.
Just backhanding
Just
them.
making them look like idiots.
Total incompetent moron. And like historically, when Russia goes outside of Russia and
They
starts
don't
to
do
try
too well.
conquer,
Except for one.
Yeah.
One time.
But it's like,
Because I think they're freaking Alexander the Great.
no, they're
And
not.
they're not.
They're not. And dude, this guy's dope.
It's amazing. It reminds me of like all the videos like I've seen in my lifetime of like somebody bullying like this little quiet kid and just smacking him in the face, and the kid finally breaks and just whomps the bully, man. This is
Yeah.
exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
There are people chucking Molotovs out of their bedroom windows at these tanks, man. It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, God bless him, man.
like
Yeah,
immediately
like-
I was like, oh my God, poor Ukraine. And then 2 days later I was like, oh.
But I mean, you got to be for real. If you live that close to Russia and for that long, you should stock up. You know what I mean?
True that.
Like,
Any day.
dude, this guy can dance.
Yeah, I go out
Yeah,
to the
dude.
I'm
Ukraine-
watching him right now.
I go out to the Ukrainian people, not to make, a light of the issue, but it is just, it's also interesting to see war just like on your social media
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah, not to make light. It's like inspiring.
It really is. It's like, man, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
For reals. This guy is a great leader and leading by example.
Like I didn't know anything about Ukraine, but apparently every single citizen, total badass.
Yeah, right? It's like I'm just used to our leaders fleeing to Cancun when the power
Oh my
shut off.
God.
in
When
the
it's a
state.
little cold out.
Talk about cringy Texas moments.
Yeah. But
You know what's
Ukraine,
funny?
man.
I thought about today. I have met both Beto and Ted Cruz in person.
Oh, gross.
I was on a plane with Ted Cruz. You remember that?
You hit
Yeah.
the P and stuttered, and I was like, is he trying to say pillow fight?
I
Is
was
this
on
guy
a
in a pillow fight with Ted Cruz?
Petto and yeah.
Weird.
Ukraine.
Yeah, I hope for the best for you guys.
You know what? Paddington CLE coming soon,
That's
but
so
the Ukrainian version.
Yeah. Didn't understand it. Didn't understand a word.
Seems like a cool bear though.
Oh, yeah. So I guess, it's a roundabout way of telling you uninformed movie reviews pro-Ukraine.
Pro
Pro
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Anti-fascist. That's
Yes.
for sure. In any way.
Are you saying we're Antifa? Is that what you're saying?
I am. Put it on record. Dox us. I don't care.
I'm anti-fascist. You mean fascist?
You mean you're pro-fascist? Oh, I hate Antifa. That's the response to I hate Antifa. Oh, you're pro-fascist.
We one of my coworkers plays in a local band called Mia Antifa, and there's this
Wow.
crazy dude who like was just starting drama everywhere. He simultaneously got banned from our store and the Rock House for like threatening to shoot everybody up.
Is this the dude that was like telling you about Biden at work?
No, this
Oh, okay.
we got a lot of crazy people at the store. Not all of them get themselves banned, but whenever they do, it's like yes. But this guy, he was beefing with Mia Antifa, and his whole thing was like, these guys aren't even real Antifa. It's like, no, it's their band name. It's half a porn star and half something that's happening right now. Like,
Oh, I just got the name.
Yeah.
It's like Mia and like Mia Culpa? Is that what you're talking about?
no,
My bad.
Mia.
MIA.
Yeah, MIA. As the UTEP alumni, if you will. Who
Famous
acts in
El Pasoan.
famous adult documentary actor.
Yes.
And humanitarian.
Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. I love it.
Zelensky's a boy. He's that dude. I guess that kicks us on over to everybody's real hypothetical debate segment.
Love it.
Yeah? Peeps and predicts. You hear the clinks? It's time.
It's time.
All right. So, who's our reigning champ? We got Yusuke Urameshi.
Urameshi. And in case you were wondering,
That's all we can play.
that's all we're doing today. I don't want to make it
For Christmas, I'm
You
gonna,
made it pretty far on the last one.
if he makes it there for Christmas, I'll buy us the rights to that song.
I don't know if we have that kind of money, man.
If I start saving now, man, it'll be all right.
This is a real big.
Maybe if you
anime.
play like 5 seconds at a time, by the time we
Yeah.
get to Christmas, we might have played the whole song.
Could we like arrange our own version? You know what I
Put
mean?
it in a different key and play it all
different key?
ourselves and
Man, we
record
tried
it
to learn
ourselves.
about copyright law that one time, and I gotta say, I forgot most of what we were able to like scrape together. the little bit of understanding that we have, gone.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's people that make millions doing it. The young man from Following versus Eraserhead from Eraserhead.
Wow.
Their predicament is...
This is gonna be a hard one.
I mean, yeah, both are essentially the same character. Except one doesn't find a bloody fetus. Spoiler alert.
Man, when it's just like screeching.
So uncomfortable, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's like, what's more uncomfortable, that fetus screeching or the lady with the moon face?
And the singing?
Yeah, and the singing.
The lady.
Yeah, it's definitely the lady.
Their predicament? Who is more likely to star in an upcoming vampire movie that is better than Marvel's Mobius?
Well, first off,
Both.
any upcoming vampire movie is going to be better than Marvel's Mobius.
Starring Jared Leto.
Marvel / Sony's Mobius.
Because they have a great track record together.
Yeah. Is the Eraserhead guy even alive?
I don't know. I don't even know who the actor is.
I'll tell you what, though.
His name is Jack Nance.
Jack Nance?
Oh, yeah, he's in
Jack Nance is in Blue Velvet.
Oh.
He's in the 1984's Dune.
What?
He's in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, he's in everything that
that Finch
has ever done.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go Jack Nance because if you look up The Following, you're going to find out that guy was in The Following and in that one scene of Tenet.
Yeah. I was going to make the same argument. That's why I started pulling it up.
Yeah. Jack Nance is at least an actor.
It's true. He has a lot more credits.
Just like because he's only in David Lynch things, let's assume that David Lynch is making the vampire movie.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Fair
man.
point. That could get weird.
Oh my God, he's the Baron in
Yeah.
Dune. Okay then.
Von Lichtenstein.
Already better than the young man from Following.
Easy.
Easy.
GG, too easy.
GG.
FF.
GG.
I guess that means we get another one. Who would make a better vampire hunter?
Oof.
I mean,
again, I just feel like for
there's no
not
contest.
to cut this short,
The
but
young man didn't even make an okay burglar.
or
No.
person hunter.
Yeah.
or writer for that matter.
Yeah.
He's bad at everything.
He's bad at everything. The only thing he was good at was getting himself caught.
He's good at being a putz.
Yeah.
Okay, easily solved.
This is the easy one, man.
Jack Nance, a la Eraserhead,
And this is where things are going to get weird.
advances against Yusuke Urameshi, spirit detective.
I believe I was told his name was pronounced Yusuke Urameshi.
Urameshi. Spirit detective.
Who is more likely to be a daywalker in disguise?
Ooh, interesting.
So if it was Yusuke, he would be a day-walking vampire demon
Spirit detective.
Spirit detective?
/ demon hunter. Because isn't Yusuke dead, technically?
Well, he's dead, but he comes back to life. That's the
Okay.
first arc of the show, which
Which a vampire
a vampire would do, but if he was dead, he would be banished.
That's
Like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you kill a vampire, they're gone forever.
Yeah.
They like disintegrate.
As a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or explode into 1,000 bits.
Yes. Oh man, I can't believe that during all our vampire talk, I didn't shout out Interview with a Vampire, which almost made my list.
Really?
Which is crazy.
Is it that good?
Last time I watched it, I hated it.
Yeah.
Then I rewatched it right now and I was like, what was I thinking? This movie's like amazing.
Is it? I was
It's-
worried it wasn't that good because I watched it when I was a kid and
Well, don't you like period pieces?
I do.
Dude, I mean, it's incredible. I was able to overlook Tom Cruise. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
That was my big obstacle.
And they got this cool thing where all the vampires each have their own power.
That's cool.
It's really an interesting movie, man. I mean, I know this is like, you know,
It's based off of Anne Rice book.
yeah, like one of the biggest vampire movies of all time.
Right.
It's like weird to talk about it this way, but I feel like our group kind of didn't really get into that.
Interesting.
Good, guys. I mean,
All right. I'll have to watch
it's
it.
on the Netflixies.
And I had my pre list and now I have my post list of some housekeeping I got to do.
Yeah, you're really good at that pre stuff too.
But back to the argument at
Constantly.
hand, I would say,
Interesting point, David.
Thank you.
I feel like the brooding, solemn nature of Eraserhead
Yeah.
does lend itself to like vampiric tendencies. You know what I mean?
A Helsing character.
Yeah, it would be like a Helsing.
you know, the only thing I'm going to say is about Eraserhead. I don't know anything about this character really, mostly because that movie's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's not character based. It's more like the experience of you wondering like what is real and what matters anymore by the end of that movie.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about that character other than he's got really big hair.
and he can't keep a lady, I guess.
Yeah.
So would you say that Yusuke is a better hunter? I mean,
Okay,
just by
wait,
trade.
wait.
But is it a
Daywalker.
hunter or daywalker?
Oh, that's right.
He's a done peel.
Yeah.
See, Danny, you're assuming all daywalkers are vampire hunters.
Well,
Who's more likely to be a daywalker in disguise? I mean, Yusuke is kind of both
Yusuke's actually
already.
borderline this, and you know what? You might not know this because I don't know if you ever finished the anime, but
I definitely don't know this.
at the beginning of the anime, Yusuke doesn't have a dad, and
Yeah.
in the final acts, we learned that his dad is like the king of the demon world, and Yusuke is like half demon king, which I think is pretty dang
That's
close.
kind of like a
to
daywalker.
being
I mean, you're a
daywalker.
half.
He's a
dun
half
peel.
demon.
Yeah.
He's a dun peel.
I'm going to say that he wins again.
Yusuke Urameshi
Spirit
advances once again.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I
what
think
do you
so.
think, Frank?
That argument makes sense to me. We don't know enough about this other character to really like. I got nothing. I've already put out my 2 weak arguments for him. Your arguments that you're making sound better, and I don't know enough about this other character.
It's gonna get to
to argue against
It's
it.
gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to like watch.
That's what I was
Yu
just
Yu
gonna say,
Hakusho
dude.
to argue
I'd be
against it.
so pissed
Because he's going to
about
be
it.
on here for so long.
It's gonna be like when I was asking everybody I knew who was into comic books, like, okay, what are Batman's weaknesses? Like, give me an example where Batman like got his ass handed to him.
And they're gonna be like, "Well, Yusuke's super cool, dude. I don't know what to tell you."
He's got a weak back.
Well, shoot, that brings us to the end of another podcast. What a doozy.
Well, shoot, indeed.
At least for now, until as the sun rises. We'll be back.
We'll be hiding out. We'll be sleeping in our caves. Coming up, we got the Batman. Well, actually, the Batman already happened.
Right.
We got to love
Check
and
out that CLE.
pop CLE.
Oh, yeah. David's
for some
birthday.
special boy's
pick.
birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then actually on my birthday is going to be our next podcast episode, The Godfather.
Oh, man.
That feels nice.
Another Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, more Francis Ford Coppola. And then in April, we got Dirty Work CLE for April Fool's Day.
Not looking forward to that.
And we have genre bending Rodriguez movies, genre bending movie quest. Basically, we're gonna do a movie. We're gonna do a movie quest on movies that break the genre. And just one last one to get you ready. Cabin in the Woods 10-year anniversary.
Yes.
I can't believe
Oh,
that
wow.
movie's 10 years
Wow.
old, man.
That's crazy.
I feel old now.
Yeah.
I feel tired.
So I don't know. We'll see y'all soon.
Yeah.
That's what we got coming up.
Please help us out with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us out a lot. Now, also on Spotify, you can also rate any podcast that you're following. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So please help us out on that. Give us a follow. You can get all the latest episodes if you do a little follow on Spotify. Same thing on Apple Podcasts. Just make sure we don't clog up your iPhone with, I'm assuming your iPhone, with our downloads. Help us out on YouTube with a share, a like, a subscribe. We're on socials. We got Instagram clips at Uninformed Movie Reviews.
I know I met a few new followers this week as of recording, so thank
Really?
you very much for following. Hope you do enjoy the content. Feel free to let us know.
Convent, because you got the shirt on.
It's hard to break the habit, if you know what I mean. Yeah, feel free to engage with us. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what
Yeah.
we're doing wrong. We won't do anything to fix it.
What's your
But let us know
favorite?
anyways.
What's your favorite vampire movie? Comment. Tell us. Let us know. Send us an email at uninformedmoviereviews@gmail.com.